everyone tuned in. This is the Men, Church, Stuff podcast. It's the show where brothers-in-law DJ Culp and Brad Coleman talk about what it's like being Christian men in today's society. Having spent our entire lives immersed in church culture, we want to share our experiences with other men who are willing to listen. We'll talk life stuff, church stuff, man stuff, and, well, stuff. Let's get to it. Greetings, podcast land. I hope everyone is doing very well today, whatever today is, as Brad eloquently put last week, whatever day of the week that you choose to listen to this, or perhaps even whatever year you choose to listen to this. This is the Men Church Stuff podcast. I'm one of your co-hosts, DJ Culp. As always, here with my brother-in-law, Brad Coleman. How's it going over there?
It's still going.
It is still going.
Just keep it going.
So as a bit of an homage, Brad, I want to start out today as a bit of an homage to last week and your very poor choice making of drinking coffee at a particular fast food Mexican restaurant, Taco Bell. Me and my wife were watching, or were listening to this, and as soon as you said coffee and Taco Bell, she actually looked at me and went, I didn't know Taco Bell had coffee. And listeners, this is coming from somebody that doesn't even, she can't stand the taste of coffee. So Brad, even someone that's not a coffee drinker knew that you made a bad choice.
Yeah, don't do that.
Don't do it.
No.
But today we're going to talk about parenting. So listeners, for those of you that are new to the show, I am a college professor. I teach at a small private Christian university in Jackson, Tennessee called Union University. And one of the things that in the collegiate world, and if you've been through college, then you will probably have remembered this, that the entry level college course in any given subject is going to be 101. Well, because we're talking about parenting, I don't know about you, Brad, but I would actually kind of think that, if we were to call this show like Parenting 101 or Parenting 250, I think we're probably giving ourselves lots of credit. That's probably not due. So we're going to make this a remedial episode, and we're going to call this Parenting 098.
Parenting for dummies.
Parenting for morons. Why?
Not that remedial classes are for dummies.
Yeah, right. No, maybe not. Maybe
Just
not.
We are.
Maybe not. Yeah, I was going to say maybe not parenting for morons, but parenting from morons.
By morons.
By morons.
Yeah, we'll take on the title.
So, I've got to kick the show off. I've got a question for you here. What are things that you thought that you would say? Or sorry, what are things that you thought you'd never say as a human that you ended up saying as a parent?
Yeah. Okay. Wow. I could write a book on these, I think.
I know, right?
Right off the top of my head, and just so you know, podcast land wasn't preempted for this. Don't lick the outside of your glass. Don't lick the table. Don't lick that.
Yeah, don't lick your arm. Yeah. I actually had to tell my daughter that yesterday.
So that's probably one of the biggest ones I remember from the past. Thankfully, we've mostly got past that, unless we're just
be ridiculous.
Be ridiculous. But I just remember one instance where, like Hannah, we were sitting at a restaurant, probably like a Mexican Chinese restaurant, and there's condensation on the outside of her cup, and I look over there and she's just licking the condensation off of the outside of her cup, which is full of fresh water. So that's definitely a big one. Don't lick that. There's definitely a lot of other things too, though. The don't.
Lots of don'ts
that I thought I'm not going to have to ever tell another human being,
Yeah.
don't.
I remember distinctly. So listeners, my wife and I share, we have three kids. One that's six, Noah, three, Addie, and one, Zoe. So six, three, and one. When Noah was a baby, I had no idea that I needed to know how to explain to not play with your poop. I didn't realize that that was something that that was going to come up, because I thought for sure, I mean, nobody wants to stick their hand down there.
Yeah.
Oh no, no. And so much so, Brad, I don't know if you know the story or not, but I got up to go to church, actually. I think it was a Sunday morning, and I played drums at church, so I had to be there early for music rehearsal. So I get up, and the routine was that I got Noah up, and I'm trying to remember exactly how. Maybe it's like I fed him or something, and by the time I was done feeding him, Cheryl would be up so I could leave. So I walk in, and Noah, man, he's been wide awake for some time. We did not know that, but man, he's been having a party, like a grand old time. Poop is everywhere. It
Yep.
is over him. It's sheets, walls. I mean, it's like, what on earth? What happened? I did
Praise you, Jesus, for Clorox wipes.
Oh my gosh, I know. Yeah. How did people deal with that before bleach? um yeah, so definitely for me, like when I wrote that question out, I remember distinctly thinking, I don't think there's actually anything beyond compare for me that is like a question that I could never have thought of that I would ask outside of, don't play with you, please don't play with your poop. Why are
Yeah.
you playing with, like yeah. Um, yeah, parenting, dude, parenting changes everything. Oh my gosh.
Let me tell you, one of the biggest things for me was going from the person who was judging other people with the way that they handled their kids and dealt with their kids,
Yeah.
to the person that, let me just take this time on the podcast. I'm sorry to all of you parents that I
Sorry.
judged before I was a parent. Don't get me wrong. There's some parents out there
Yeah.
that still, that I'm going like, look, you need to get control of your kids. But sometimes you're getting control of your kids. Um, Sometimes you got to let your kid throw a little tantrum and not get their way, and that's the way you deal with it.
And
So
that's the way you deal with it.
for all those parents out there in Walmart where your kid was throwing a tantrum and you were dealing with it
Yeah.
by not letting them have their way, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm
And
sorry that I
and
judged you.
dude,
Uh,
I think you're spot on. And I think anybody who were to say, I've heard a lot of people say that, but I never really felt that. I didn't really feel like I was judging parents. Either A, they don't currently have kids, or B, they're not human.
yeah.
Like I remember thinking, you know, I know that this parent right here is thinking that they're doing the best, but I know for a fact that when we have kids, like it's just not going to happen. I am like so judgy and so unbelievably wrong.
Yeah.
I like there was a I'm trying to remember. I don't know if it was like but I don't know if it was like a Facebook meme or a greeting card or something like that. But it's so right that, like, what it said was, when you thought my child will never, and then it goes dot dot dot. I think it was a card. You open it up and it says, "Don't worry, they will."
Yeah.
And it's so true, man.
The struggle's real.
Yeah, the
Parenting is
struggle, yeah,
the
struggle is
hardest
very real.
hardest job that I've ever had. Most rewarding job I've ever
So
had.
rewarding, dude.
Love being a dad. Absolutely
Yeah.
love being a dad. Um, Got a little face poking up in the background here, um,
Oh yeah,
sneaking around.
Hannah back there.
Yeah, told them they had to be quiet. We're doing the podcast, so
Yeah, yeah.
he's quietly peeping around the
Observing.
corner. Um, yeah, so most rewarding job I've had, but most difficult. And here's the thing, I think one, I had to realize, wow, how many times my parents had no idea, like if they were doing a good job or not. They're doing
Yes.
the best they can, and I think I'm very thankful for my parents, and I think they did. I mean, I think they did an excellent job.
No, they did.
of
Absolutely. Yeah.
raising me and my brother. Uh, but when I was a kid, I thought, they know what they're doing. They got it all figured out.
Yep.
And the secret is when you become a parent, you're like, no, you don't. Like, Carrie Beth is my first teenager. Isaiah's getting ready to turn to be my second teenager. And it's like, okay, this is next level stuff.
Yep.
And I think we're doing okay. But some of it's like, oh, okay, how do you know?
Yeah.
You can, because sometimes you get caught up in the moment too, because sometimes you go through these difficult times and things change and you go, all right, Lord, help me to be a good parent. Help me to make sure that I'm doing
Yeah.
this. And I don't know about you, but sometimes I'm scared a little bit, and like it
Yeah.
causes me to pray even more because I'm like, okay, because I overreact. Let's just be honest. I overreact with the stuff when it's like, they did this because they're human,
Because they're here. I
because
know.
because they
Yes.
sin, because they're people,
Because
and
they're
they
people.
and they
Yeah.
struggle, and they're not perfect, and
Yep.
I'm a horrible dad. I'm just a
Uh,
horrible
I
dad.
I seriously think the exact same things. But like, so Brad, I actually don't know. I don't know this about your personality, but for me, um, I have like it's a character flaw depending on the scenario. But I also think like as a musician, it's actually a character pro. Like it's a character bolster
Hmm.
that nothing is actually good enough. And I say that so for listeners, if you guys aren't musicians, the world of the musician, a successful musician, in my personal opinion, is not based on how many. It's not strictly based on, excuse me, how many gigs that you get, but it's really based on your approach to your craft and your approach to detail. And if there's actually anything that could be better, the question that I like to ask as a musician, other musicians I've talked to over the years, what we would ask is if there's something that's wrong, why is it there? And can you take care of it? And so, like in that context, having that type of personality works really well. I mean, it's often it can be quite self-degradating
Hmm.
often, but for the better of what I'm doing. However, when you're a parent and you have the same character flaw, like it is so hard, Brad, for me to, as Shara will tell me oftentimes, pick my battles. I don't know how to do that because to me, everything that's wrong is a battle. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like, yeah,
right,
yeah.
right.
They're all battles. So I've got to pick all of them. And
Yeah.
and I mean,
I got to
it's
correct
sometimes
everything.
I've got to correct everything. It's exactly right.
Because if I miss that one thing, if I miss that one crucial thing, it's gonna be over.
Yes, yes,
I
or that,
failed.
or they're going to see that that's the inch that I give them, then they're going to take a
Yeah,
mile with that one.
yeah.
And so I oftentimes get overload,
Mm,
and just like you, very much overreact. I've got a boisterous personality, anyways, and so
mm,
I'll overreact. I can get angry really quick, and I hate that about myself. I really do. And when I pray,
yeah,
when I pray that God, I really like help me be a godly parent
mm,
to my kids. I mean that's something that I have, I mean, really just here recently, I've really begun to pray very seriously about how God can you take this away from me? Because I'll
mm.
say this about like about anger specifically, since we're talking about parenting. So anger in the context of parenting, right? Yeah.
Never. We
That
never get angry.
we never get angry,
We
right?
never lose our
No,
temper.
no, we're Christians, and because we're Christians, we don't get angry. Like
Never
yeah,
yell at my kids.
um, that that like anger, I think, is oftentimes in as humans. I'm going to say humans,
Mm,
and I think also in our culture, anger is it's we all know it's there, but it's like one of those character traits that we don't harp on.
mm,
So it's almost like, I know that you're probably going to get angry. Don't worry, I get angry too. But because we all do it, and because we all get angry, just work on it. It's one of those things where
mm,
I don't necessarily know if we're convinced that God can actually I'm not going to say cure us, but that God can alleviate our anger and put His Spirit in. Because like oftentimes, I know for a fact and I don't know about you, but this may be stereotypical, but I tend to be harder on Noah than Addie or Zoe,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
um and so like I know for a fact that when Noah's going to do if Noah's about to do something wrong, it's almost like I can feel it boiling up inside of me, just waiting for that to happen, and
Mhm.
I hate that, man. I really
Yeah.
I've been
So,
praying
I don't,
for God to
and
alleviate
whether it's
that.
stereotypical or not, I think in my experience it is. Like there's definitely things that I'm a lot tougher on Isaiah as my son than I am the girls. Now, it tends to be the opposite with Tabitha. I think she tends to be harder on the girls
Mm,
and easier on Isaiah in some ways.
yeah.
I think some of that's just the natural way. And when there's both of you working
Yeah.
together,
Yeah.
doing the best you can, it works. Let's get on anger for a minute because
Yeah. Yeah.
I certainly have struggled with that. Certainly, some have still struggled with that. Lose my temper, blow up. One of the things that I've learned though is every mistake is an opportunity, right?
Hmm.
And one of the things that my dad taught me was, son, it's not the things so much the things that you do and the mistakes you make, but what you do after
Yeah.
you
Right.
make those mistakes. And so one of the things I'll say, because I think it's important for dads, because um, some people don't do this, I hear, which is crazy in my mind. So I'm just going to say it. Um, if you have wronged your children, apologize.
Yeah.
Say you're
Yeah.
sorry. And there's been times when I have lost my temper above what I it is in my mind permissible. All right.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's a certain level of strict, there's a certain level of, hey, I need to get this across to you. But there's times when I have emotionally, through my anger, just lost it.
Yeah.
Gosh, I hate to admit this. If I'm honest, now I thought it was a solid wood table. Turns out it wasn't. I slammed my fist down on table and put my
Oh
fist
man.
through the first layer of the non-solid wood table
Gosh.
um, in anger
Yeah.
while I was yelling at my kids. Now, what they did was wrong. And
Yeah.
so what I had to do was calm down, one, but I had to come back to my kids and go, listen, what I said to you
Yeah.
was right. You needed to hear it. What you did was wrong. I needed to correct you. The way that I corrected you was
Yeah.
wrong.
Yeah.
And so and
Absolutely.
so I'm sorry for the way that I said the things I said to you. I
Yeah.
need you to understand, I'm not sorry for the things that I said. You still
Correct.
need to take those to heart
Yeah.
and hear them.
Right. Right.
But the way that I presented them to you was wrong. And so
Right.
for that, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And there's been several times that I could just think of if this was confession
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
that I've done.
Nah.
But I've also, but again,
It's a safe
that's
place, man.
I'm take that to God too.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Apologize to your kids, and then go
Right.
to God and say, "Hey, I shouldn't have done that. I'm sorry. Help me.
Yeah.
Help me work on that." But I think that goes a long way. Love, the Bible says, covers a multitude of sins. And so I love that verse because I've committed a multitude of sins. And
Yeah. No
so
doubt.
I think with that love, and so love your kids and let it cover a multitude of sins and
Yeah.
let your kids love, and live in a way so your kids love you back.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that covers a multitude of sins. But authentically really saying, I'm sorry, I'm gonna, and then working on it. Hey, I'm going to work on this. Now, I'm not going to lie. There's still times when I overreact and
Yeah.
I have to do that again, but I feel like I don't do it as much as I used to.
Yeah.
However, I did it on the dog yesterday. I did it on the dog.
Hmm.
Daisy was on this footstool and something got her attention and excited and she jumped off it and the footstool swang backwards, hit the table, knocked over a cup of water, knocked it over on some books and stuff, and I just screamed at the dog, and the dog reacts worse than the kids because then she's like, "Oh, I'm so
Yeah. I'm so
sorry."
sorry. Right.
To the highs, and like I'm getting stuff and cleaning it up, and I'm realizing how stupid that was because
Yeah.
she didn't mean that.
Right. Right.
She wasn't like she didn't
Nothing
know that was going
malicious
to
was going
happen.
on. Yeah.
So I'm going up to the dog and I'm like petting her and like, I'm sorry, Daisy. You're a good girl. You're a good
Yeah.
girl.
Yeah.
You weren't maliciously doing this. You weren't doing something you weren't supposed to. You got excited. You jumped off the footstool and you're almost 100 pounds. So
Yeah.
object going
It's
this way
it's
causes the
actually
object to go that
probably
way.
a good thing that that's the only thing that hit the floor.
Physics.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, could have been so much
Yeah.
worse.
Yeah.
Nothing was destroyed. There was water. I
Yeah.
was able to dry it up. Matter of fact, that reminds me, I probably need to make sure I didn't leave the rags down there on the floor.
Or else the
ADHD.
dogs will. Yeah. Right.
Yeah,
Um,
but apologize to your kids when you need to. And
yeah,
if
dude.
you can't think of a time where you've apologized to your kids, you probably need to.
And I also like to actually kind of to go like one more off of that. I think it's really important because I did grow up with this. I think it's really important for us parents to not just teach our kids about God's forgiveness, but to like show them and by way of prayer what it looks like when we need to ask
Yeah,
forgiveness.
yeah,
It's not just one of these sort of concepts that exists that, well, I guess people in church say this, so I have to as well.
mm,
Like I grew up with my mom and my dad, both being very intentional about asking for forgiveness, and then like every now and then I would see them or hear them in a prayer ask for it as well, and I'm like, well,
yeah.
so like this, this matches up. This is something that they do. This is something that they believe in.
Right. You don't have it all together,
No, not at all.
and
And
guess what? No matter how much you try to act like you got it all together, your kids are going to get to a point. I think somewhere between 10 and 12, they start getting figuring out skills, and they're going to realize you don't have it all together.
right.
So
Yeah,
you
it's
might as well
exactly
just
right.
own you don't have it all together, because otherwise you just look like a liar. Like,
Yeah,
oh, my
right.
dad acts like he's got it all together, but he don't.
But he doesn't.
Like, I hope my
Yeah,
kids
it's
know,
exactly right.
look, I'm seeking to follow God. I don't have it all together, but I'm
Yeah,
going to keep marching on and keep working. And
yeah,
I'm seeking help where I need help. I'm seeking forgiveness where I need forgiveness. And so that's part of life. Is
yeah.
like, look, the me and Tabby laugh. People will say I'm a mess, and I'm like, the secret is we're all a mess. Some of us just hide it better than others.
Yeah,
Like, we're all
yeah.
sinful humanity. We all need
Every bit of us.
Jesus.
Like,
Just
yeah, every one of us parents. Well, the best way, I think I said this a couple episodes ago, but it definitely is worthy of repeating. Best quick consolidation that I've ever heard of this concept is what we never knew when we were kids is that we were still watching our parents grow up.
yep, absolutely.
Um,
And that's
and,
that's a
and
that's an eye-opening, crazy thought.
yeah,
But yeah,
and like for me specifically, one of the things, and I want to belabor, anger here, but something that I've really been tossing and toiling over, in my spirit is, um, so Paul says, be angry and do not sin,
yeah,
but, um, I want to say is it,
James.
slow to anger. I'm trying to remember where the slow to anger reference is. Um,
Mhm.
but like
That's James. So James says, be quick to listen,
and slow to
right?
and slow. Yeah, yeah,
Slow to
yeah,
speak, slow to be angry. And
yeah,
then he goes on to say, because the anger of man does not bring about God's righteousness.
right. Yeah,
So there's a big difference between his anger, God's anger, which is
right,
righteous and just and not emotionally driven,
right.
which
Oh, and
and our anger, which becomes very emotionally driven.
yes, and it's also in First Corinthians 13, love chapter. Love is
Yeah.
slow to anger, and so like I truly, Brad, want to figure out what this slow to anger thing is like.
Yeah.
But anyways,
The
what
fun part about that, the fun part about figuring it out is you got to go through stuff that makes you angry
yeah, that's actually
to
true.
figure out how to be
Yeah,
slow at
yeah,
getting angry. So
yeah.
so
That's
that's and that's the
that's Morgan
double-edged
Freeman,
sword.
Bruce Almighty, right there, man.
Yeah.
Like, does if you ask for patience, does God give you patience, or does He give you opportunities to be patient? Yeah, that's
But
exactly
and
right.
absolutely. I mean, his formula in his word is trials plus tribulations equals patience.
Yeah.
So
Right.
I don't tell people not to ask for patience, because I think that I'm not going to tell you not to ask for something that you need.
Right.
I'm just warning you, when you ask for rain, carry an umbrella, right? So
Yeah.
if you
Yeah.
ask God for patience, expect God to let things rub you the wrong way.
Make it. Yeah. Have your kids continue to be kids.
Yeah.
Um, and kind of going back to like what are some things that I never thought that I would say. I actually never thought that I would give a single human being the same or in like unimaginable amount of the same instruction. Yeah. Not different instructions, the same thing over and over. And like I wasn't expecting
I
that,
just told you
I know.
just 3 seconds ago,
And I know
and
that you're
you
still looking at
acknowledged that you understood, and then you turned around, literally turned around,
literally,
and did the exact opposite.
and you looked at me before you did it.
And then you turned
as
around
if,
and smiled, like, thumbs up. Yeah, I did it, didn't I, Dad? Like, no.
no,
Do you
no.
wonder why Jesus tells us, and God tells us in his word, things over and over? How many times does Jesus say, love one another, or something of that emphasis, especially as he's getting ready to die and rise again and then ascend? He's, hey, love one another, in case you love one another like I loved you.
Yeah, love one
Love
another.
one another. Hey, guys, love, repeat after me. Love one another. That's
and
each other.
and
John, I want
his
you to look at Peter. Peter, look at John. Come on, guys. Say it with
and,
me.
and his final prayer,
Yeah.
God, forgive them, for they do not know what they do. It's
Yeah.
almost as if it's almost as like, no, it's not almost, it's absolutely, he looked at them and realized they still don't get it. God,
Yeah.
please forgive them, because I told them a lot, and they're still going to be told a lot, all the way until Brad and DJ are on a podcast still talking about this,
Mhm.
how they as parents are having to repeat the same things, not to their kids, but to each other as well. Um,
And DJ, you know
yeah.
what gets me is when God will use my parenting to teach me.
Oh, dude.
And
Yeah.
and I want to, I'll be honest, I hate that. I love
Yeah.
it. I love it because I need it and I trust him.
Yep.
But in the moment, I'm like, oh, I become a teenager. Like, here we go again.
He's gonna tell
Like,
me.
I, I
Yep.
I remember complaining to God, okay, complaining to God that I was having to fix a situation and mess in with a situation that I
Yeah.
didn't cause, right?
Right.
Like I'm struggling ministering through this with a situation where there's there's stuff that was caused by other people, and my prayer to God was like, I didn't do it. I didn't cause it. So why I got to deal with the outcome of it and the struggle of it? And like, that's the way I felt. I was just like, I prayed that. The next day, I'm walking through the kitchen, and there is a 20-ounce soda Mountain Dew bottle laying on the floor. And I looked at Carrie Beth, my oldest, and I said, pick that up and throw it away. And she said, that's not mine. And as I was saying it to
Yes.
her,
Yes.
I
I know.
heard God
Yes.
saying it to me in my heart. I didn't ask you if it was yours. I told you to pick it up and throw it away.
That's right.
And it
Yep.
was like, ah, oh, oh.
Yep.
I mean, me and her had the same reaction. She probably didn't see it, but that same, like, oh, I was having to my heavenly Father.
Yep.
Oh,
Yep.
God, I
I
got
have
it. But she
often
picked it
I
up and threw it away.
I have often thought, so making a mess, as you just mentioned, I
Yeah.
have often thought with my kids, why is it that I'm the one, when they spill their drinks after we told them stop moving your arms, we're at the dinner table, and they do it anyways and milk goes everywhere? Why
Yeah,
am I the
Brad.
one to stand up and go clean it up? And seriously, bad, just like you, in that millisecond, I feel God's spirit moving in my heart going, but whenever you sin and you come pray to me, you're asking me to do that, and I'm okay to do that. Why
Yeah.
are you not?
Yeah.
Yes. So
Yeah.
true, man. So true.
Especially when it relates to when they're too little to do it anyway. I mean, there comes a time like with mine,
Yeah.
you know, which are my kids are older than your kids,
Yeah.
and you know, they spill it. I go get a towel and clean it up. Now, sometimes I've had to try to put the urgency in them. It's like, go get a towel now. Like,
Now.
stop walking to
Yeah.
the towel. Why are you not running to the towel to clean this up? But but yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, it's teaching them, and it's discipline. Discipline's not a bad word.
No, discipline's
Discipline
not a bad word.
can be
Not at
punishment.
all.
It goes along with punishment, but even punishment in and of itself, depending on the purpose, I think, and there's justice. And oh man, we go too far deep into that
Yeah,
we
yeah.
want to go in
We don't have
098.
we don't have the time to open up
Yeah,
that
yeah.
box,
So
but
so let me just get to the gist. Some of the probably one of the most important things that I've learned as a parent is consistency and
yep,
discipline,
yep,
consistent discipline over time.
yeah.
Um, Jesus, in the word, he says, let your yes be yes and your no be no.
That's right.
And because everything else, it brings about evil. So what's he saying? It's like when you say yes, then you need to stick with that yes. Now, guys, if you say yes, oh, hey, you can go over there and you find out new information. Oh, I told you to go over to your friend's house, but with the assumption that their parents, whom I know and I trust, were going to be there. But then I find out, oh no, they're on vacation. Guess what? Now your yeses can change because there's new information.
That is
So,
correct.
so you're not going
Yep.
back on your word,
Right.
right? And I get parents that are caught up in that. Like, well, I told them they could go, but well, you found out something else. That's different. I
Yeah.
told you you
Yeah. The
could
game has
go
changed.
with the
Correct.
understanding. I when I say no to my kids now, because I've been consistent, they know that means no. Now, sometimes I have to remind them, did I say no?
Right.
Did I say no? Yes. Okay. What does that mean? No. Right.
Right.
So, because if I say no, you can't go, unless there's new information that you haven't given me,
Correct.
then that's
Yeah.
no. Now, if there's something that was left out of the equation, now you can come back and discuss it with me. Well, Dad, I want to make sure you knew that, her parents are going to be there, and their pastor is coming. And there's probably going to be an invitation and an altar call. And I know we're going to be singing Jesus songs. Can I go?
Sure. Can I go with you?
Yeah, I was like, oh, this sounds like a great time. Yeah. Now, so when things change, when the information changes, do it. But when you draw a line in the sand, metaphorically, and you
Right.
say no, and then you change, what are you telling your kids? You're telling your kids, I'm inconsistent. But what
Yep.
people don't realize they're doing, because sometimes they go, oh, I hate for my kid to miss out on that. And I feel that too, because
Hmm.
I love my kids.
Yep.
Like, I hate for my kids to miss out. But sometimes it's a lot better for them to miss out on that temporary happiness, on that temporary thing, and learn something a lot more important. Like if they've made commitments and something a BBD, a bigger, better deal comes up,
Hmm. Hmm.
make them follow through on those commitments.
Absolutely, man. Yeah.
And I'm sorry that they don't get to go to Kings Island this time. They're not going to die. It won't kill them.
No.
There's been a lot of times I haven't gone to Six Flags or Kings Island.
Right.
And you know what? It didn't die. And yes, there's disappointment and it's upset, but you know what? You'll feel better as a human being when you follow through on your commitments. Like, man, you will. So when
Yeah.
they say, "Hey, I'll cut your grass for $10," and they show up and they realize it's an acre and a half field and they got a push mower. Probably should have. I mean, that's a
You
valuable
didn't do your
lesson.
research. That's right.
It's a
Well,
very
and
valuable lesson.
and Brad, what I have realized, and you're right, your kids are much older than mine. So a lot of times, when I think about parenting and when I think about um in my personal experience, the relationship of me with my kids as a parallel metaphor, or parallel analogy of my relationship with Christ, right? He is my heavenly Father. Oftentimes I default to Noah just because he's the oldest, and
Right.
Addie at 3 is just barely beginning to kind of figure out just
Yeah.
stuff. And Zoe's one, she just doesn't care. So Noah, with your let your yes be yes and your no be no. Noah, let me tell you about how much of of a brainiac he already is. He just doesn't know it.
Yeah.
And like he is exactly me. Like the apple, it's not that the apple didn't fall far from the tree. I don't think the apple fell. You know what I mean? Like but his when I say no, he begins automatically to try to figure out the situations that might turn my answer from no to yes. And so my no is not no all the time. My no is no, but under these conditions. But what if? But what if? But what if? And I
What
and I
if?
and I find myself thinking, DJ, I do this with God all the time.
Yep.
This is exactly what this is how I treat my Heavenly Father when something comes up that, like, if it's a yes, then I'm good, man. All right, cool. But if it's no, how do I work the system, get around without actually getting in trouble? And I find myself as a parent trying to figure out how do I like cut him off at the pass and prevent him from experimenting, but at the same time, and I really hope I'm not alone in this. This is one of the beauties about this podcast. Like I love the thought that there are other people that are listening going, dude, that happens to me all the time. But I try to think about how do I find out ways to cut them off at the pass. But at the same time, I also think, but is this not actually who God has constructed Noah to be? And so, like, I almost, knowing that I'm going to get mad, I almost want him to continue to work those critical thinking skills. I mean, like, as a parent in those situations, like, no, stop doing that because my answer is still going to be no. But it really is amazing to me at the age of 6 how he is already beginning to try to work the system. Now, if you want someone to be a square box and a straight line and nothing is going to go wrong and you want them to behave all the time the way you want them all the time, then this is a recipe for disaster. But I also think that you're trying to create a robot in that sense,
Well, and I think for that, because I think I've definitely dealt with that with the kids. There's been times when I've said, "That's a good argument." The answer's still no, but that's a good argument. I'm gonna give you props for that argument.
Yeah,
like you thought it through. I'm glad you're thinking. But my answer's still no.
No. Yeah, right.
But maybe next time, like I'm gonna, because sometimes the answer is no, not because of that. Sometimes the answer is no because one, I know something you don't know.
Yeah.
Sometimes the answer is no because the timing isn't right.
Yeah.
And there's times when I do explain the things to my kids because I live by the rule that I don't owe my kids an explanation, but I do often give my kids an explanation.
Dude, you are so right. And one of the things that I like that Sharon and I are really trying to figure out how we can get our kids. And this goes back to, I can't believe that I have to say like the same instruction over and 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 over again. But like sometimes like, with completely trivial stuff, I will say no because I actually want it to be an exercise of just listen to what I have to say.
Yep. What do you need to learn? Right. Because sometimes that's it. Sometimes it's not about the scenario. It's about what you need. Have you been really rebellious lately?
Yeah.
Then hey, yeah, I'd love for you to go to Six Flags, but right now you need to learn that you got to listen. That's not a right. That is a privilege.
That's exactly right.
So, man, there's so much.
There's so much.
There is. I want to say something that I read in a book a few years ago. I was working with teenagers. It's a book called At Risk: Bringing Hope to Hurting Teenagers by Dr. Scott Larson. That may not be completely right, but Larson is. He made the point out, he looks at Jesus's baptism, right? And the Father God's response. And I'll never forget this. He says, God teaches us 3 very important things just in what he says. And if you're familiar with the passage, God doesn't say a whole lot, right? The Father God says, this is my beloved son in whom I am well pleased. And
Yeah.
he says, God teaches us right here three things that every kid needs from their parents. Every kid needs from a parent figure if they don't have this, if they don't have it
Mhm.
from their parents. They need to know, this is my son, right? You're mine. You
Mm.
belong to me.
Yeah.
You belong. So you belong. You're my son. This is my son. This is my beloved son. I love you. You belong, and I love you. In whom I am well pleased. I'm proud of you.
Yeah.
Now, now this can be twofold, and we've kind of had this discussion before, DJ, because
Uh-huh.
there's two different kinds of proud, right? There's I'm proud that you're my son
Right.
because you're my son.
Yeah.
Because you are mine, and I'm proud that you belong to me and that I love you. And there's also that, hey, you've done something good and I'm proud of you.
Right. Yeah.
And
Like pride is a byproduct of an action that has been
yeah,
completed. Yeah. Right.
yeah,
Sure.
and I think, again, that reinforcement when you've been obedient, when you've done things good, it needs to be there. But also that understanding that even if you've just been the absolute terror lately and all this, I need you to know that you're mine and I love you and I'm glad that you're my son.
Yeah.
You may not be making me glad with your actions right now,
Yeah.
but I'm proud to be your father. And we're
Yeah.
going to get through this and we're going to and it's going
Yeah.
to be hard and it ain't going to be fun for either one of us, but we're going to get you through this. And if it kills me, I'm going to teach you.
Now, Brad, to your point about, you said that you hold with your kids, I'm so much on the same page as you here, that you don't owe your kids an explanation.
Mhm.
But I will say that to take the opportunity to actually vocalize to your
Mhm.
kids why you're proud of them
Mhm.
is a big deal. And I remember, so Brad, you
Mhm.
said that you're right. You and I have had these conversations before. I grew up with a dad who would say to me often, I mean, like crazy often, I want you to know I'm just so proud of you. And because of my personality, because of the way my brain works, I'm very much a if then person, very very analytical, very logical. And so like when he would say that, if I hadn't done anything, I would say, but why? I didn't do anything. And what's interesting is that my own son at age 6 is going through those same
Mhm.
motions, and I find myself taking the opportunities that my dad did take at
Mhm.
explaining what you just said.
Yeah.
The origin of that pride, not and pretty much knowing full well that he's not gonna really fully understand what it
Mhm.
means to be proud of him because he's my son until he has a kid.
Yeah. Man, it's a game changer, isn't it?
That is such a game changer, dude. Yeah. So
That's what that's yeah. I
so,
I
so
miss I miss out.
Brad,
That's one of the things I struggle. I
with
miss
what?
I miss I didn't get to have that conversation with my dad after I was a dad. My
Oh yeah,
dad passed when we were pregnant with our oldest Carrington,
yeah,
and and of course some of those conversations that got to have,
sure,
but after like holding and understanding like things completely different. Like I'm looking at this little life and I'm going like I would fight the freaking world for you,
yeah,
knowing full like if a grizzly bear came through the door and I
yeah.
know I can't win that fight, but
Nope,
it doesn't
I'm
matter
done. I'm
because I
done.
want to fight and scrap to the death in the hopes that you got time to run away,
That's right. That's right.
or it's gonna get enough of me. I'm big enough meal. It's gonna go off, and I mean it's like it's crazy,
Yeah,
just how much, man, I would have loved to say to my dad, hey,
yeah,
thanks for being the awesome dad that you were. Um,
yeah.
uh, yeah. So
Well, Brad,
DJ,
we've been
yeah,
going a little over 40 minutes,
we have.
and I want to finish up the episode with I had Brad send my wife a text,
Yep. That's what I was
and
gonna say. That's what I was
yeah,
leading to.
and then I said, and I sent Brad's wife, my sister, a text. Um, Listeners, one of the most important things that we need to do, and I'm sure, like, if you guys are parents, you probably do this anyways. But I just want to say this out loud. One of the most important things that you guys need to do, that my wife and I try to do, is brag on each other about how good of parents that we are, knowing knowing full well that we really do suck at it and, on a lot of levels. But Brad, what I did, I sent Brad's wife a text, and Brad sent my wife a text, and the text was just to get them to to tell me and Brad both, how we are good dads. And we don't, obviously, I don't know the answers that Shara gave you, and you don't know the answers that the Tabitha gave you. So who goes first, Brad? You or me?
So I think that you let me read what Shara said.
Okay, so
to
you're
me.
going first. All right.
I'll go first. I said DJ is the worst, and I'm just
Yes,
kidding.
you really did get a text from Shara. Yes, you did.
Off the rec. No, no, no. DJ. She said DJ is a wonderful husband and dad. He's our protector, and keeping his family safe is very important to him. He's loving and a fun dad who loves to make the kids laugh. He will read books in silly voices, which I'm like, oh man, we need this. I need to hear this. I need a silly voice reading book. Sing songs silly, play goofy made up games. He's also a teacher to our kids and wants to help them learn more about God. DJ is the head of our house and helps us to keep God the center of our home. And that's what you want your wife to say.
Dude.
And I know Shara, she's not gonna blow smoke.
No,
She's not
she's
gonna
not gonna
say
blow
those
smoke.
things if she doesn't mean them.
That's right.
And so let me make the point before you say what my wife said,
Yeah,
which
right.
I don't know what my wife said. Guys, if you're out there and you think that you're a bad dad, you're worried, am I a bad dad? Am I a good dad? One, that's a good sign that
Yeah,
you're asking those questions.
right.
I usually tell dads when they come to me, like, look, really bad dads don't ask that question because they don't care.
Dude, I just need to interject this. That doesn't make any sense to me. I can't imagine being a parent and not overly criticizing myself to the point of saying that I'm
So
a bad,
that's right.
it does not compute.
That's because it doesn't compute because you're not a bad dad, DJ, because you care. I mean, it, it, I'm not saying just because you care that makes you a great dad,
Sure.
right?
Yeah.
But it is the first part of the sauce.
Yeah. Right.
You got to care because one, I think that care is well, it's one. If you don't care about your kids, then you can't really say you love them, right? Because isn't
That's very
love
true.
a
Yeah.
little
Yeah.
more than care?
Yeah.
So if you
Right.
don't care, and so now you're missing one of the main parts of it.
Right.
So, but look, guys, if you're asking that question, one, that's good. That's good. Now, evaluate yourself. Go to God, do the evaluation. But one of the ways God's going to speak to you, and hopefully you've got that good, healthy wife, um, she's going to tell you the truth. If she's a good wife, she's going to tell you the truth. She's going to share with you and encourage you the good things, but she's also going to help you see your blind spots. That's why there's two of you. That's why in God's plan for the family, there's husband and wife.
Right.
It equal
That's
in
right.
importance.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
different in roles. There's a lot of overlap.
Tons.
We cover the gambit, but she's going to see, you know, your blind spots. You're going to see her blind spots. Share those with each other.
Yeah.
But let her encourage you, and if she thinks you're a good dad and she's telling you you're a good dad, that's probably a pretty good sign that you're
Yeah.
not a horrible father.
Right.
So, and I will say again, I don't think that people who are horrible fathers feel like they're horrible fathers. Matter of fact, I think there's probably some horrible fathers out there that think they're great because they're so caught up in themselves. Like, yeah, I'm the best father my kid could ever think. I think that's the more dangerous. If you think you're the best father
Oh
ever,
man.
you're probably nowhere near it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
So
a good word.
anyway.
It's a bold word, but it's a good word. Yeah. So here's what Tabitha wrote about you. He likes coffee.
Mhm. Just took a drink, like
And there
as
we
you were
go. All
saying
right.
that.
That's it. I mean, like she was quick to the point, man.
Yep.
Like
Yep. She loves
he
her kid.
she says here that you make time to be silly and takes opportunities to have teachable moments. You tuck them in every night and you pray with them. You are above all consistent and honest. He is open to any conversation the kids want to have as long as they are respectful to him and others. Yeah, dude. And again, like that's Tabitha. She's not going to say something that she doesn't mean. None of that's fluff. Um, but I love that. I love this middle sentence here. He is above all consistent and honest. Like, and I'm like, we should definitely plan on an episode down the line on what honesty in parenting looks like versus honesty with like an accountability partner or something like that. Like those are two very different aspects. But at the same time, like, do we need to protect our children? Absolutely, we do.
Mm-hmm.
But we also need to make sure that our kids know. And when you say like know what, I mean know like what sin is, know what truth is,
Mm-hmm.
know what right and wrong are, know what what's funny, what's not funny. I mean, just like being honest with them and like and very much so, Brad, like you said, don't get caught up in yourself. And if you don't get caught up in yourself, it's going to be really easy to be honest with somebody because you're just going to be able to say what's honest and what's not honest.
Be
And
willing. Sorry, you go ahead.
and what I was going to say was also parents, and this is like I can't necessarily speak at like Brad can to this particular point just because Brad, your kids are older.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I am totally fine with answering the questions that my kids ask me about anything.
Mm-hmm.
And if I don't know, you don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll try to talk to somebody who might know. I'll try to figure it
Right.
out.
Right.
Here's what I was going to say. And man, this is probably one of the most not fun parts about parenting at this point.
Yeah.
My son is getting ready to be a teenager. And so I won't call it the talk because I think that downsizes it. Like it shouldn't be a talk. It should be the
Talks.
ongoing
Right.
conversation.
Yeah. Multiple. Good for you.
Some of the most awkward, uncomfortable conversations that I've had with my son,
Yeah.
have been about some of those deep things. And he felt awkward and uncomfortable, and I felt awkward and uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Be willing to do the hard stuff and
Yeah.
have the awkward, uncomfortable conversations. You know what? We went, first time, remember we had the kind of first talk.
Right.
Went out to the garage. And we're sitting there, twiddling around with stuff. And I said, hey, we need to talk. And I opened a conversation about those things. And I'm looking at him and he's looking at me and I can just tell like he's mortified.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I said, feel really awkward and uncomfortable right now, don't you, son? He said, yep. I said, me too.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
this is some important stuff that we need to discuss and we need to talk about. And I need you to know that you can come to me and talk to me about it. If you have a question, if you have, a concern, if you have a problem, if you've struggled, if you've messed up, I need you to know that I'm your dad and I want you to come to me and we'll walk through it together.
Right.
Whatever that looks like, and if you've screwed up and you've done something stupid, you know what? Own it, come to me, then I can walk through it with you.
Right.
Like it's not to say that it's not going to be hard, but hey, you don't have to walk through it by yourself. And we've had a few of those. We'll probably do for another update.
Yeah.
Upgrade, like of the conversation. Hey, it's time to go back to the garage and have another awkward conversation.
And you'll be like, oh gosh, yeah.
But one of the good things too, I think, is the more that we have those awkward conversations, the less awkward they become.
No doubt.
And the more comfortable that our kids are with coming to us.
And the more they see us,
own
not
it.
just as parents, but the more they see us as humans, the more they see us as Christians, the more they see us, as Paul said, the more they see us working out our faith, right? I mean, that's part of it. And Jesus walked his disciples through their faith.
That's good.
I mean, see, like he did, man.
He walks them through it, right? And he gets them to a point
Yes.
where he's going to leave, and they're going to go. Now they're going to get the Holy Spirit, and I'd argue that greater is the Holy Spirit in you than Jesus beside you.
Yeah.
But he's going to leave, and he leaves them instructions. So now they got to fly. They got to fly. We got to teach our kids and gradually get them to the point, because right now we have a stewardship responsibility. Yep. I'm responsible for this one popping up in the back corner here. I'm responsible for her life. I'm responsible for helping setting the boundaries and watching over the choices and stuff she makes. Right. But there's going to come a point in her life where I have to lift that, and I no longer have a stewardship responsibility. She now is the steward fully of her life. She is now, but it's different. I'm the steward of the steward. Yep. But my role as her dad, I'll always be her dad, and always be someone she can come to. But right now I'm her boss. At least 50% of the boss there, you know.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And I'm your boss, and there will come a point when I'm no longer that. I don't have that rule over her life.
Right.
Unless she lives in my house, which, by the way, if your adult kids live in your house, then they should go by your rules. Like, don't give me that. Don't give me that garbage of like, well, they're adults. Yeah, but are they eating your food? Are they sleeping in your beds?
Using your electricity?
That's right, man. Look.
Yep.
If I move in with you, I gotta follow your rules, because or find my own place. It's my kingdom. It's my castle.
Which includes rent. That's exactly right. Listeners, we thank you so much for joining us. Brad, we're going to have more parenting episodes for sure. I mean, there's no way that we could do a podcast and only have one parenting episode. Yeah. It's just not the case. So, listeners, thank you so much for investing your time in our show. Find us. You can find us on a Facebook group. You can find us, obviously wherever you get your podcasts. We've got an email account, menchurchstuff, all one word, menchurchstuff@gmail.com. Email us. Shout us out. We will respond to everything that you send us. Beyond that, listeners, we'll catch you next time.
Yep. Love you guys.